so we've, just thoughtful about how we finish up here in terms of some of the things we emphasize in the effort to capture the last that this environment provides us.
You are looking live at St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh Steelers Training Camp 2024. It is Wednesday, August the 14th, day 16 on the field, and the final day on campus for the Steelers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Training Camp Live, presented by FedEx. That was Mike Tomlin to kick things off for us today. I'm Mike Pursuta. Next to me, as always, Max Starks. Max, any melancholy today? Any bittersweet thoughts about the end of training camp this summer?
So you know what I thought about, and I was thinking about, yes, it comes to an end, but, for these guys out on the field today, training camp doesn't end. It's just this chapter of training camp up in Latrobe. You still have work to do. Final cuts have not been made. There's still a third game left. So hopefully they take all the things that they learned out there and up here in Latrobe, they take that down to the south side and continue to work on those skills. Don't get complacent because camp's over. You still got a lot of work to do, and Mike T, I'm sure, is going to make sure that it stays hot down there on the south side as much as possible to keep the momentum going towards figuring out from 90 down to 53 players to make this roster.
Got a little breaking news for you to kick things off today. The Steelers have added a wide receiver. Dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause.
No,
waiting.
not that one.
No.
T.J. Luther.
Yeah.
6'1", 180 pounds, out of Gardner Webb. He is 24 years of age, went to training camp with the Jets last year, spent some time on the Patriots practice squad, and now he's here at St. Boy, he got here just in time.
Yeah, I mean, at least he could say he went to St. Vincent.
Yeah.
I mean, albeit a couple of hours, but, yeah, he's here.
Also, cornerback Zion Gilbert. He's 6'1", 185 pounds, out of Florida Atlantic. He's 25 years of age. 3 career games played with the New York Football Giants in 2022. 1 career start, 1 career sack. And, Max, these additions at this time of the year, it's much about making sure you have the lines long enough for the practices as it is taking a look at guys at specific positions, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's that. And also, if a guy can go and put his hand in the dirt and give you some plays as well, get him some tape. Whether it's not here or somewhere else, you're still auditioning. So everybody wants tape. So an opportunity for these guys to come out here and try and see if they can glean something from a couple of days. I mean, they'll have the practice today and then, of course, the joint practice against the Bills, and then it's game time. So hopefully they can get something in 2 days to where they can actually go out there and participate. And when we go through our list, I think I'll have a concern where maybe 1 or 2 of those guys could make a impact.
It was a little tease there from Max Starks. We do have a list today. It's the last day. This is the last show. There will not be a training camp wrap-up this afternoon. So for all this programming that we've been doing ever since everybody got here in late July, this is it. And in honor of this being it, we have come up with, Max, the Campies. That's
yes.
right. Not the
yes.
ESPYs, not the Emmys.
No.
The Campies. 16 days of practice counting today. So I have 16 categories of interest and recognition, and we're going to go through them one by one. And, hey, just in case you missed everything since July 27th, just keep it here. We'll catch you up, and you'll basically know everything you need to know, right?
Yeah, I feel like the Campies or the Steelies. Could we go the Steelies?
Steelies aren't bad, but then there already is Steely McBeam.
Yeah, that's true, and I just saw him walking down the hill,
And
so
he's got a purpose, but I don't know that I want to go there.
we're not going to get to that.
Okay.
We're not going to get to that. This is a family show, so we're going to stay on point. But no, I mean, yeah, Steelers Training Camp Awards edition.
The Campies. So let's start it out with Best Rookie.
Ooh, so this is a good one, and one that I kind of, when I made this decision, I was like, I'm thinking about also like impact as a rookie, like where do you find your space? I got to go with Beanie Bishop as probably my best rookie so far, just because I feel like there's an immediate path for him to get into the starting lineup or be an early contributor, like really quick on this team. And there is an opening there, right, when we're talking about opportunities. So I like what Beanie Bishop's done. He's been running with the first teams almost the entirety of training camp.
Not this week.
Not this week because Graylin Arnold missed some time, so they couldn't rotate it. Trust me, he got plenty of reps in the game, so I'm sure Beanie Bishop's like, you know what, I'll take some backup as a rookie, swimming a little bit. But I got Beanie Bishop. Who do you got?
I thought about Beanie Bishop. I thought hard about Peyton Wilson,
Yeah.
the most interesting man on campus.
Yeah,
And
low-hanging fruit
one of
there
my
with that one.
absolute favorite players in the draft long before the Steelers selected him. But I went with some relatively low-hanging fruit, Zach Frazier.
Oh, okay. I like
think
that
the
one.
arrow's pointing up. He's starting
Yes.
to get some first-team reps.
Yeah,
I thought
I
he had a
agree.
great game for starters against Houston.
Yeah.
They've been working him in with the ones, not starting the periods, but getting at least one rep with the ones every period. And it's not going to stun me if he starts September the 8th against the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, there is a surprise. There's definitely an increase. I like Zach. Zach was one of those guys. I teetered on that one as well. But
It's good that we have options here.
yeah, exactly, because it creates better commentary for television.
Well, but it's better for them. I mean,
Well, I mean, for them, yes. I mean, you want to have you don't want to go into the situation having just one guy.
Yeah.
The note that you have, and also what Nate Herbig brings, like not only at the center position but the interior three. There's versatility there. Whereas Zach he is what he is. He is a center, tried, true, and tested, and so he had an amazing game for the first one. I want to see how it carries over from 1 to 2 against this Bills squad that's going to be lathered up. Their second game, so it's starters on starters again, so hopefully he gets some reps in there. But I just want to see clean from that center position. And I think Zach is just slowly but surely, he's just working his way up, and that's what I want to see with an offensive line. I'm
Train
never a
has
big
left
one.
the station.
Left the station. I just don't want to put him in the fire too soon to where you crack that resiliency and you kind of put him in a position where he's going to be, not at his best. So I like it. He's still in my slow cooker pot, though.
Okay. Best veteran, the Campy goes to?
I mean, do we go any further than T.J. Watt? But, I mean, that's such low-hanging fruit. You know who I'm going to go with? I'm going to go outside of the lines here. And you know what? I have my list on my phone because I'm in that generation.
I have mine on paper because I'm of that generation.
So see,
it's
this
written down.
This is
in
what
cursive.
happens. Boomers versus, I guess, a Morgan Trail.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah. Still very valuable. They provide fossil fuels. No. Anywho, no. I'm going to go with Isaac Siamalu.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Isaac just because he's such a veteran. He's a leader on that offensive line. And him and Cam have had some great battles in camp here. And it is like two old dinosaurs wrestling each other, right? It's a T-Rex.
Like a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
Epic battles in those.
Epic battles. A lot of stuff gets destroyed. Grass mainly out there, though. But no, Isaac has come in. He looks healthy. He looks really good. So
looks great in a bucket hat.
excellent in a bucket hat.
Only guy looks better than him in a bucket hat is you.
Offensive lineman, it's a lifestyle choice. That's the one thing I will say. And Isaac has a lot more hair than I have now. So, it's probably getting real steamy up there on the top of his bucket hat.
My choice is a little outside the lines, too. Not that there are any lines because we've never done this before.
No.
So we're kind of winging this, and we did not compare notes beforehand. But when I say best veteran, I'm not talking about the best player. T.J. Watt, he doesn't get a lot of reps out here. Minka Fitzpatrick doesn't get a lot of reps out here. Cam Hayward doesn't get a lot of reps out here. They didn't play in the first game, but I went with a Landon Roberts for a couple of reasons.
E-Rob, oh, man, I almost put E-Rob on there, and I was like, wait a second. I can't put too many defensive guys in consecutive order. So
I thought he should have got a trophy for the end of last year, just being the last guy standing at inside linebacker.
Oh, my gosh,
helping to save the season. I thought he did as much for the defense as Mason Rudolph did for the offense, allowing them to make that late run. But I love his attitude out here. I love that he hit Justin Fields and precipitated a fracas. And then he said, hey, I just wanted to get something going.
To see what happened.
He's vocal. He wants guys to know when it's time to button that chin strap tight and put the shoulder pads to use. I think he's a presence. I think he's a really good player. And, I just think the guy deserved a shout-out because he's really become a Steeler quickly since he got here.
He exhibits everything you want in a Steeler with the tenacity. But he also he's a leader, too. And I think that's the other thing. Like, guys gravitate towards him. They listen to what he says.
He's stirring the pot. He's keeping the temperature up.
Listen, he is a catalyst.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Good word,
he is a catalyst for a lot on that defense. So that's a very good choice. I really like that one.
Let's go with most impactful newcomer. Now, you can go player, coach. I guess you could go anywhere, really, with this.
And you know what I'm going to go with? Arthur Smith. Thank God. Thank you, Lord, that we got Arthur Smith here. I love his system. I love the way that he uses the offensive players. He's deploying multiple tight end sets, multiple receiver sets. He keeps things confusing for opposing defenses, and he's always tweaking. He's always like reconfiguring something from one practice to the next. I love the way his mind works, and he is all in. He is getting in everybody's face when they don't do it. He's making guys run laps when they have a false start, except Kyle Allen in the game. I would have loved to have seen that, but I get it's a different situation.
Oh, God, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been that was.
They had to run somebody in a quarterback, and he goes around the field.
Yeah, exactly. That's better than the Spencer Anderson Emmy Award that he was trying to audition for. But no, I mean, I really love what Arthur's brought to this team. He's brought an energy to the offensive side of the ball. He also gets into it with E-Rob and all those guys on the defense. So I love that energy. We haven't seen that for the last couple of years. An animated, vocal, intense coach. So that's my most impactful newcomer.
Yeah, we didn't compare notes on these lists. I just sent Max the categories yesterday. But
yes.
I am also going to go with Arthur Smith for all the reasons you said. And particularly, I mean, hey, we all know it's a new offense. They're going to use more tight ends and maybe a fullback and all that schematic stuff. But the communication to me, including the chirping with the defense, I think helps keep the temperature up. But also, defensive players have talked about how he will come and tell them, hey, you guys were in this, and so I decided to attack this part of that formation. If you're playing somebody that's not the Steelers, maybe they'll do it the same way. And here's where I thought that was vulnerable, or this is why I did what I did with who I had on the field. And this has been going on. Oh, you say he's all in.
Yeah.
That occurred when he got in the door. There was an incident in OT, not an incident, but Patrick Queen had a pick six in OTAs, and he ran and gave the ball to Arthur Smith. Like, here, tell your guys to take better care of this.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that stuff's been going on, and I just think it's healthy. And the communication element of it beyond the schematics, I think, might prove significant.
Well, and it's about the inclusiveness, right? It's not like I'm on my side of the ball, I'm in my silo, right?
Yeah.
This is a team. So you've got to bond with everybody because guess what? When it comes Sunday, it comes crunch time, I guarantee you Arthur Smith's going to walk over to TA and say, hey, TA, I need that ball back. I need one more drive. And the defense is going to look at it like, hey, we need you to sustain this drive because I need a break.
Yeah, we're a little tired.
Yeah, we're a little tired here. So it works both ways, and I think
we could not go 3 and out the first 5 series of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that'd be great, guys. That'd be great if you just actually sustain drives so we didn't use all of it. But no, I really love it, and I think he's been just a great addition, and you just see – and the coaches have a different energy about them as well.
Biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise. So this was one that was a little bit like I didn't know how to go with this one because I was like, surprise meaning I didn't expect him to do what he was going to do.
Yes, that would be the definition.
But usually if you got to this point, like there was something that stuck out. That's why the Steelers brought you in. But Dejon Edwards in the game.
Interesting.
Really showed me some stuff because we already assumed that Najee and Jalen are our 2 running backs.
Well, I give you great credit for this selection given his background.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a lot for a Gator to say positive things about a Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah.
And but now he's a Steeler.
I respect your professionalism here.
You know, but I had a lot of former Georgia Bulldogs out. Hines Ward. You know, I eventually liked him except for 1 week every year.
Oh, there's more down there than Edwards.
No, I know. There's more down there, and I'm not giving them that much credit. I mean, we have a lot of Georgia Bulldogs on the squad now, but I remember over the years, you kind of give credence. He's a Steeler now, though, Mike, so I can kind of look past those past transgressions.
Oh, I'll be going down that road momentarily. But my biggest surprise, Van Jefferson.
There we go.
Under this context, when they signed Van Jefferson, I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, the position
Allen Robinson, you're thinking this is the Allen Robinson replacement?
Wow, has he been good. I don't know what went on last year. He played for 2 teams last year, the Rams and the Falcons. Combined 20 catches for 209 yards and 0 TDs. Max, based on what I've seen out here, he's going to do a lot better than 20 catches for 209 yards and 0 TDs. He looks good. He's professional. He's catching, 300 balls a day off the
he's going
machine after every practice.
Yeah.
He's setting an example. He's setting a tone, and he is making plays at a position where they're still trying to figure out exactly how many playmakers they have.
Yeah. Well, what college did he go to?
He's a Florida man, I believe.
Yes, that is correct. He is,
and not the Florida
Gator.
man like the headlines
No.
for the news stories.
No,
like
he's not a guy
a
finding
Florida
alligators
man
in his
and
toilet
fireworks
and,
and a
stuff like that.
bad ending.
Yeah, no, not that guy. He's a good Florida Gator.
A Gator.
Man. He's a proud Florida Gator. But no, I think you're absolutely right. I think the problem with Van last year, he got lost in the sauce in L.A. because you had Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua came out of nowhere.
Yes, he did.
And so now Van's your third option. And I think Stafford just had that relationship with Cooper. He had that relationship that he developed really quickly with Puka and realized Puka could be deployed in more ways. So it kind of became odd man out. And then Atlanta, Red Rover sent any quarterback on over. So I mean, nobody was going to do it. Hence why we got Arthur Smith, right?
Yes.
Because he couldn't find a quarterback. They thought they had some with Mariota 2 years ago. It didn't come to fruition. So then you were kind of playing musical chairs at that position. So it's hard to get any type of rhythm. But Van has come out here, consummate professional. He's on the field early, like you said. He's on the field late. He's in the weight room, making sure he works on his flexibility and stays available. And I've just loved everything that he's brought to this wide receiving room. And
Tripp's professional receiver.
And I don't have a problem if that's our number 2 going into the season.
Nor do I.
I think he's earned his slate. If you've been out here watching practices, he's a difference maker.
Yeah, can get deep, can block.
He had a great block on the I think it was the Jonathan Ward when Jonathan cut to the outside, down the field. Tremendous blocking.
He took a couple reps at gunner out here the other day.
We could need that. That's later down the list too. We're going to talk about. Yeah,
but I mean, no
willingness,
too small, hand in the pile, that kind of thing. Biggest disappointment. I'll lead this one off because we're not talking about play necessarily, but more a development
circumstance.
That's something that has occurred out here that we wish had not occurred. And I'll follow your professionalism with some of my own. Swallow hard and say Roman Wilson getting that ankle injury the first day in pads from the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
You may not be aware, Max, I watch a lot of Big Ten football.
Would never have guessed that.
I think this is a tough guy. I think this is a physical guy, even though he's not the biggest guy. I think he knows where the first down stick is. He knows where the goal line is. He knows how to catch short and run long, as our old buddy Coach Randy used to like to say. But that injury, I hope that hasn't set him back. I mean, I think he's on the mend here.
Yeah.
But, boy, he missed a lot of time at a critical time, and I wish that hadn't happened.
And he missed a lot of key moments, like in camp, right? You're talking about Friday Night Lights. You're talking about having a big padded practice where you were working on short yardage, goal line, and like the physicality. He missed a lot of that stuff. But I think he's a guy who can catch up. I think he's gotten a lot of reps, like you said, at the aforementioned college in your home state of Michigan. Well, I'm calling it home state because you graduated from there. Yeah. But no, I think the way that I look at it is it created the other opportunities. It allowed us to see more of Van Jefferson. It allows us to see more of what Calvin Austin can do.
But I do want to see this guy on the field sooner rather than later.
Oh, absolutely. I'm there with you. I don't want to see him kind of get shelved like Calvin did when he got injured, because he got injured around the same time his rookie year.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that he's progressing and that he comes back. I think he can be an addition this season. My biggest disappointment, I think, was Russ's injury at the beginning of camp before we got even into acclimation period. And I'm glad he's now back out here. I think that's huge, and to get some opportunities come Saturday. But it was one of the things that was a setback. Now, it gave Justin Fields a lot of good reps, so we got to feel a lot more comfortable about Justin Fields. But I really wanted to see Russ and what Russ was doing and keep him going in that upward trajectory. So now we kind of it was a delay, and now we're starting to see it now.
That's a good pick, though. I think there's still a lot of great anticipation out there to see him in a game.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. Do you think we will?
I think we will. I think we'll see him Saturday.
Okay.
I think we'll see him Saturday, at least a couple of series.
If I think it's a good idea to play him, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, and listen, I'm all for competition. I think Mike Tomlin is too. Mike Tomlin's never been one to be shy away from trying to expose his players, to get them out there so that they can get a feel for it, because this is an opportunity just to not make week one the fourth preseason game, which a lot of teams are doing. When you look around the league, how many guys are not starting, right, Mike? I mean, and it pisses me off because, I'm like, you need reps, especially if you're a rookie or a young guy. You need to get out there and get as many reps.
Got to spar if you want to box, right?
Yeah, exactly. And listen, I know guys are going to worry like, oh, my God, look what happened to J.J. McCarthy in it. But would you have rather it happen now or happen in week one?
Fears, right?
Yeah, you can't live in your fears. And I would rather lose them here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the things that just – it always confounds me when you're trying to protect, like, especially rookies and new guys to a team. It's like, get them out there. They need to get a feel for this because it's a different environment for them.
In terms of the campy for biggest concern, I'll lead this one off. I do live in my fears occasionally, and I think this one would probably apply to every team in the National Football League, but just staying healthy. We just talked about a couple of injuries we wish had never occurred. And in particular, I really want to see T.J. Watt stay healthy. I really want to see Joey Porter Jr. stay healthy. I really want to see George Pickens stay healthy. I mean, I want to see them all stay healthy, Max.
I want all noted or projected starters to stay healthy up until week 1.
But there's some guys that are going to be leaned on more heavily than others.
You're absolutely right.
We're not sure about depth at wide receiver. We're not sure about depth in the secondary. Not that they won't find some eventually, but as we sit here today,
that is where we're at.
We don't know.
And that's the reality of it. That's the tail of the tape is, health is always going to be the big thing. Because we've seen it over the last 2 years. And, I'm here, knock on wood right now, but we've seen what it's done to the defense at various points over the last 2 years, right? Yeah. Remember when safety 2 years ago and defensive backs and secondary just got whittled down to nothing, where it was just Terrell Edmonds and Miles Killebrew.
Last year was inside linebacker.
Inside linebacker got ravaged at a critical
pulling guys
point.
Off the couch.
I mean, Miles Jack, we're like, hey, can you just drink a couple more protein shakes, some Nesquik, something? Just get some weight up, bud, before we bring you out there. So, no, you're absolutely right. And it's never a matter of if, it's a matter of when and to what position group you're going to deal with injuries. So, depth and health, I agree with you. I think my biggest concern is more schematic-based.
Okay.
Gunner. Gunner is one of mine.
Interesting.
You got to have a gunner. The reason why punters look good, why a punt return becomes a non-factor or a non-play for a lot of situations, it's because you have good gunners that cover and make the guy give you the fair catch symbol, waving your hands over. That's because the gunners did their job. And we saw a couple of returns in the game on Friday where that was a concern, where we needed to find those guys. So IDing that position, I think, is something that is a great concern, and Danny Smith's going to be more concerned about it than anybody, but it is something that you have to worry about going into the season.
That's a good choice. Camp Sleeper, what do you got?
Oh, Sleeper.
The camp he goes to?
So this was the one because of the list that we had. It was like Sleeper, and I think it was
Under the Radar.
Under the Radar. We're kind of like in the same category. I'm going to go with my biggest sleeper, Spencer Anderson. Number 74 in your playbooks, but number 1 off the bench on your OL Heart. Spencer has shown that he can do a multitude of positions. And that kind of Swiss Army knife, do-it-all type of offensive lineman is somebody that you need on a team. And it's something that we've kind of missed over the last couple of years having. We've had guys who've been great, just position-specific players. We think of Nate Herbig and his ability to play on that interior, and they usually put a tackle that can swing it both ways. Spencer can play all 5 positions. And he's taken various snaps. Now, this year's been more emphasis on the interior guard because he's a tackle by trade. But last year was a great swing tackle. I thought he really came up a lot. Put on a little bit of weight, which was nice, so he could play those interior positions and not be on the edges. Huh?
How's he doing inside?
Oh, he's doing great. I mean, he's one of those guys that if I was saying he would be the teeterer on best 5 linemen out there. Like, that's how good he's doing.
Nice.
And so I really love what Spencer. So from year 1 to year 2, a Maryland product, very, very low draft pick, a guy that you didn't think was just going to come in and be a camp body. He's really shown himself to be a valuable asset.
I'm going to stick with one of the guys I mentioned, at the start of this, and go with fullback Jack Coletto.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know how well he's doing.
Yeah.
But I know I keep seeing him out there in the I formation, or what do they call that when he's just a little bit to the right or
yes,
left?
It's called broken eye or offset
eye.
Yeah.
I see him out there on a lot of special teams. I mean, if he can play teams, he's got a shot. But I do think Arthur Smith wants to use a fullback, and if it's not Coletto, I don't know. What do you think of this theory? So few teams use a traditional hammerhead fullback, and I say hammerhead with respect and admiration.
Yes.
There's got to be guys on the street that can do it that aren't employed right now.
No, it's a dying position because there isn't that many colleges that use the traditional
Okay, so that's
fullback
tougher to find than I think.
It's tougher
maybe
to find, but because most teams don't use them, therefore those guys get converted to other positions.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, can they still go back and do that? Because it takes a lot to line up in that position as a lead blocker, knowing I got to take this middle backer head on in the hole, mano a mano, every single time and be glad to do it. That's one of the things. It's funny you picked that because I was going to say my under-the-radar guy is the guy that Jack Coletto would have to like see in a hole, and it's Tyler Matakevich, Dirty Red. Dirty Red's come out here, and he has played a good brand of football. He's also a special teams ace. So I love what he's done. I think he doesn't really get noticed a lot, in that process.
Oh, I like the selection, yeah.
But Tyler Matakevich is a guy I think is going to be a big asset, and especially with this new kickoff rule.
Brought here for a specific reason.
Very specific reason,
Yeah.
very niche, and he is a hammer that likes to go find a nail.
Good energy giver, too, and a guy he knows the drill here.
He blends with everybody.
Yeah.
He's a happy guy. He's always smiling. And, and he's just a guy that loves impact. He loves contact, and a guy that doesn't back down from anything. And I think that's the other thing that you want, especially at that backer position. And you're trying to create who's that number 4 guy in the inside linebacker rotation. I think he's really shown a lot there where he could be a multiple player.
He won me over a couple years ago. He showed up for the first day of camp in a Falco 16 T-shirt.
Yeah. Little what is that, the replacements action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want the ball, Shane? Winners always do.
Yeah.
I went for under the radar, and this is probably I'm correcting a mistake I think I made in retrospect. I've been so focused on the offense, what they're doing schematically, the quarterback position, what's going on there, the offensive line, who's playing where and when, how many times are they using 3 tight ends. I haven't talked maybe as much about the defense as I should have, and if that has been the case, I apologize. And I don't feel like I've said at all, man, I think Keanu Benton is going to be a problem for a lot of people this year.
Okay, under the radar. Okay, I like that one. That's a really good one. And like I said, we didn't look at this together, so this is very.
We're just spitballing here.
Yeah, we're spitballing here and creating it. But you're right. Keanu Benton is poised. I'll tease it. Poised for a breakout year this year.
Yeah. Although
I think so.
Hopefully not the only one, because.
No, we need a lot of guys to come along, but
I mean, you always hear about that second year thing.
Yeah, the jump from first year to second year is supposed to be.
I really
dramatic.
thought his jump came last. I thought he played really well down the stretch. He went from being a rookie who's kind of figuring it out as he went to a guy that they could trust.
Yeah, a guy who could.
Now I think
over.
he's going to help lead the charge up front. I think if Cam Hayward is back, and he says he is, we'll find out when he actually starts playing in September. But
yeah, exactly.
If he's back, I think this defensive line is going to be formidable.
No, I really love our front 3. I love the starting lineup that's projected for this squad on the defensive line, and Big 95 is a big reason for that.
Yeah. Now, player poised for a breakout.
Keanu Benton.
Seriously.
That's why I had my breakout player.
Okay.
I was out. That's why I said he's poised for a breakout. I was trying to throw the tease. I was like, great, okay. Well, we got the same thing again.
Well, at least we got to him.
We did get to him. So it's very synonymous. But for all the reasons you listed, I think even more so when you look at what Keanu brings to that nose position, it's evolved. It's not the Casey Hampton world stopper, rocking the ground type of move. You need to be physical. You need to be able to push the pocket up the middle.
You got to provide some rush, yeah.
And he brings that, and I think for him, he's finally figuring out his man strength, but yet his flexibility, his ability to just knife through a double team has been really, really awesome to watch that progress. And like you said, a young dude figuring it out. So I'm really excited for what's to come for him.
Really, people that come out here, if you were paying close attention, the pre-drills that the D-line does, this guy just glides.
Yeah.
It's
very smooth.
He's one of a number of players out here. I don't want to single him out because all these guys are different breeds of cat now. But they're just so silky smooth and mobile.
Yeah, and for his size too. That's the one thing. Like you can no longer really call it a dancing bear. I mean, it's about as smooth as seal skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's doing a really good job.
My player poised for breakout is tight end Pat Freiermuth.
Oh yeah, I like that one too.
He had a tough year last year. Some of it was beyond his control. Some of it was he didn't get done as well what he should have got done. But he looks locked and loaded to me. I remember talking to the tight ends coach, Alfredo Roberts, in the at mini camp, and he said he just likes the look in his eye. And, man, is this offense perfect for Pat Freiermuth or what? I mean,
designed to feature a tight end, and he is a guy that's going to take full advantage. I mean, we saw in the acclimation period just the volume of throws in his direction to get him comfortable. And then now you see just in this system that Arthur Smith's created, just the versatility of the tight end position in general. the guy is no longer a static guy that lines up next to a tackle on the line of scrimmage and maybe he lines up offset. No, we're talking about lining you up in the slot, isoing you on the backside, bringing you across in the formation. You're one of the main guys with a shift. I mean, there's just so many ways to put guys in positions to create mismatches, and I think Pat's going to be a big benefactor of that. So, no, I'm in complete agreement with you. Breakout year is definitely poised, like you said, but it goes back to the biggest concern. Got to keep him healthy.
You do, but he's got a little I feel like he's playing like he's got a little something to prove. I feel like he's real comfortable now, and he's kind of arrived, so to speak, instead of transitioning to the NFL. And, man, if you're going to go 2 tight ends at a time, maybe somebody else can block, and he can be the guy in the slot like you mentioned, or do what he does best, and maybe let Mount Washington block out the sun.
Yeah, let him go block out, and let him go lead block at the point, and let Pat work the backside cutoff, or even if anything, run off the slot and run just a decoy route. So, no, I completely agree. I think Pat's embracing it. He loves it. And like you said, he's locked in. I mean, you just see him walking around campus.
I feel like his personality is starting to come out more as a player and just as a guy interacting with his teammates in the media. And
no, he is.
All arrows up, I think.
Yeah, all arrows up. And, he's a guy that, like, he brings a certain level of comfortability when he's in the huddle. He also has a certain level of calm about him that I've noticed the last couple of weeks.
In terms of the Campy for hardest worker, what'd you come up with?
Well, I'm going with not only hardest worker, I also took hardest hitter into faction. Mason McCormick.
Oh,
yeah, Mason McCormick. Physicality is never a problem. We talk about the guys who want to be. He wants to be a sledgehammer, not just a hammer hitting nails. He's a sledgehammer demolishing a wall. Like, that's the mindset he brings to every single play, every single opportunity. He's out there. He's the last guy to hold on to a jersey, and he's waiting. He's like, "No, you let go. No, you let go." Type of mentality. And you
mentioned that a couple days ago. And I thought, this is so childish, but it's so perfect for this environment.
This is the perfect environment.
Yeah.
Petty is welcomed here.
Yeah.
It is all petty is welcomed, and you can never go too low. And I think that's the thing, that he just brings that kind of tenacity to a drill. Him and Logan Lee go back and forth, I feel like, every day in practice with it. But the one thing I did love,
by the way, he didn't win any of my awards, Lee. But starting to notice him.
Yeah, starting to pop off the film a little bit, right? Yeah, he's a guy that shows up in practice. And here's the other thing I'll say.
But look at this guy. Does he look the part or what?
I mean, yes. I mean, if you put a hat on him and put him near a horse, he might double as Mongo from Blazing Saddles. He could punch a horse and knock it out. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I love, you talked about a Landon Roberts and a Landon, like, when he hit Justin Fields and knocked him down, first guy there. And E-Rob had his head on a swivel, and when he realized, he was like, that's why I'm not going to do it again. He was like, because I saw 66 running at me with a full head of steam, and I had to be ready to battle. I was like, this team's different than last year's team.
There's a saying going around that it ends with "find out."
Yeah, exactly. That's correct. If you look for it, you will find it.
I think it applies.
Yes.
And it's funny too, because McCormick. I mean, how many rookie O linemen can you obsess over? We've been pretty centric on Zach Frazier and Troy Fautanu, but he could have been an under the radar guy too. I think McCormick.
No, he was definitely in my sleeper under the radar category, but I kind of went.
He's too high draft pick to be a sleeper.
Yeah. You expect him to go in, and you expect him to play at some point within the next 2 years. So you're absolutely right. But no, he gets my hardest worker award.
I went with Najee Harris.
Okay.
For a couple of reasons, I think he's really been bringing it out here. And 2 things I noticed on the practice field. One was about a week or so ago. They were just doing a play during team run, 2nd and 6 or something, and he takes it around the left end and he gets tackled. And as he's going down, he stretches the ball, and then he looks immediately upon hitting the turf. He turns his head to see if he got to the stick or not. Like, the rep mattered, and it was 1 rep on 1 day of 1 week of camp.
Yeah.
And he wanted that first down.
It's a snapshot, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing.
And then yesterday, or Monday.
I would say, our days, it's like Groundhog Day up here. So, yes.
It is. But
the last practice.
Monday, the Steelers made Arthur Smith available to the media. So practice ends, and they put up the little backdrop.
Yeah.
And Arthur Smith begins talking to us, and Najee Harris is running sprints. just adjacent to that because there's a
Yeah.
sideline there.
Well, yeah, he has that machine. that
Yeah, and he had like
uses.
some kind of
It's
rope or
it's
something.
a tension machine, yeah.
Smith talks for 9 or 10 minutes, and then Mike Tomlin comes over. Najee's still running sprints.
He's still doing his work.
Tomlin talks for 5 or 6 minutes. Najee's still running sprints. Tomlin gets done, and his golf cart and escort, golf cart driver are there for him to
Yes.
take him up the hill. And he says, "Hey, 22, you want to ride?" And Najee says, "I got some more sprints, Coach."
Yeah. I mean, listen. There is
I
a
got
lot
some
at
more
stake.
sprints.
There's a rhyme to the reason, right? I mean, he's trying to create an opportunity for himself because I have to believe there is a chip on his shoulder.
Yep.
He has now put the chip on his shoulder. You don't get the fifth-year option awarded to you, and you've got to make it matter. And you're also in an offense that I'm sure, without a shadow of a doubt, I don't know this, but it would be weird if he did not reach out to his old buddy, an old alumnus from Alabama, Derrick Henry, and say, "Hey, D-Hen, what's up with this? What's up with this Arthur Smith guy?" And get a full rundown on what he is.
What if that happens? Does the Ravens' new running back help the Steelers' running back?
But
because of a
they're
shared connection?
They're alumnus, and they don't go directly against each other. You know what I'm saying?
They don't, but they're both trying to take something from the other indirectly.
Well, yeah, but in this position, it's position specific, and I think in today's era, it's a lot different than my era and then when you first started reporting, right, Mike?
Oh,
like where guys
well
just hated
different.
each other.
Yeah,
well different. They're buddies. They hang out in the off season. They run hills together. They go on trips together around the world.
But it would just be, hey, good luck. You figure it out.
Yeah, but I think it's like, hey, what do you think? Well, and also when Arthur got hired, that was before Derek signed with the Ravens. So it could have been, hey,
maybe he got it in under the wire.
Exactly. Maybe he got it in right before the deadline. Like, hey, man, what do you think of Arthur Smith? Man, I like him, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So I have to believe that there was a conversation had by those two to understand what the opportunity was for Najee here in this system.
Yeah. And, I could have easily gone with Harris as the breakout player.
Yeah.
I could have easily gone with George Pickens as the breakout player. I think those
Very
three
easily.
guys, more than anybody else on offense, are in a much better position than they have been in.
No, I completely agree. And the maturity that George has brought into this camp.
Yeah, he didn't get any of my awards, but I felt like talking about him.
No,
here,
I mean, you have to mention him because I think, yes, it's tough, like you said, when you have a T.J. Watt on a team, when you have a Cam Hayward, it's like star, 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 star. But what George Pickens brings, I mean, we know what the athleticism is. We know what the game-breaking opportunities he can create. But his mentality and his just maturity that he's brought into this camp has been awesome to see. He's become a leader. He's the one that's going and talking to guys, making sure everybody's up. He doesn't have, those immature moments like getting into a fight unnecessarily. He has brought his game and his focus
block
to a
Alex
different level.
Highsmith out here.
Listen, he was going and getting in the pile and blocking. That's not his strong suit, but the willingness to go out there and dig a guy
there
out.
was a time where it wasn't even a suit he was willing to try on.
No. It was like if it was a run play, he was like stopping and walking off the field because it was like third and medium. He's like, we're not going to get it. He'd walk off. And I think that you have to understand that aspect of it. Guys have to mature, and guys do get opportunities to mature and change the perception. I think he's done a great job of that this year.
Yeah, when you get mature with that, look at him. I mean,
yeah, that frame is crazy. I mean, we're talking about, hey, how do you keep this guy? I know there was conversations about pieces moving places and all that kind of stuff. That guy's staying here. I can tell you that much.
Best position battle. What's your campy in terms of the best fight?
So for me, this one's a little bit. I struggle with this one because I know what the nickel slot is to this team and what you need to find. You're looking for that new Mike Hilton, William Gay type of guy, but I got to go with the center. The center battle has been my battle du jour, so to speak, because Zach Frazier has gained ground. He has moved in a direction where you can start to feel comfortable. You can start to project what he looks like in season. And with Nate Herbig just being steady, throughout this whole process, not getting flat, not feeling the pressure of a young rookie that's highly drafted behind him, I thought that's been probably the most mature and hardest battle to kind of figure out because I was all in on Herbig early on, and then now I'm seeing Zach, and I'm like, I'm relenting a little bit. But this next 2 games will be really indicative to see if he can handle the full palette for Zach Frazier. But he definitely picked up a lot of ground the way he treated Fadukasi and Mario Edwards in that game on Friday against the Texans.
Yeah, I went with that as well. I was thinking hard about slot corner as well too. But hey, slot corner is important.
Yeah,
he's probably out there 2/3 of the time. The center touches the ball on every
offensive play.
And you told a story a couple shows ago in the wake of the game where he pulled some wrestling move and actually dragged a guy.
It was on the 4-2 double barrel. They had a
tell that again because it really stuck with me, and I'm thinking if he's doing this kind of stuff already,
it's a vet move.
He's getting it.
Yeah. So the way it's set up, it was a 5-man protection. So all 5 offensive linemen kind of spread, and then the defense had 2 defensive tackles over the guard outside shoulders and 2 defensive ends. The 2 inside backers walk up on either shoulder of the center. So we call that a 4-2 gap or a 4-2 wide double mug or double barrel, so to speak. So the idea of that is to get the center to declare one way and usually drop that guy, or you have the other guy pick and wrap to bring the pressure. Zach Frazier sees it, calls his mic out. He sets. The guy from his left picks him. The guy on the right loops behind. Running back comes in and picks him up. But Zach is offset because he has this hand, but he's snapping. And so he kind of gets out an extended arm angle where the guy is trying to hold him. And then all of a sudden you just see his arm almost like a winch on the front of like a Jeep, right? Just pulls him right in front of him, grabs with his right hand, and the guy is dead in the water. And that is a vet move. He did not get ear hold because that's the design of the play. And he was able to stay square, finish the rep, and it wasn't pressure.
And then use all that wrestling strength and technique.
Yeah, exactly. Then get back underneath him and just, kind of handle him. But it was a very mature play for a young guy that you don't usually expect to see that from. And so that was a highlight moment where I was like, oh, that's special.
Yeah, and I understand it a little bit better now after the second listen to it. But not that you didn't explain it well the first time, but it's a lot for a guy like me to process. But it just struck me, wow, Max is pretty impressed with this dude. Like, he must be he must be coming pretty good.
And that's something that a fan's not going to pick that up. You're not going to even catch it on the All 32 if you're watching on, the NFL Plus coaches tape. But it's something because I'm watching, I'm geared to know what these fronts are supposed to do defensively. And then to watch how it plays out, and for that to be a non-factor is huge because they didn't really go back to that double barrel approach after that against him because he shut that play down.
And, I also noticed him on the long run prior to the touchdown, and again on the touchdown, he was helping immensely on those, sealing those off. And I've been ever since you said you talked about not wanting to get the Belushi Award. Or whatever.
Belushi is not a good award to get.
I saw him around some piles.
Yes,
in the frame after some 7-8 yard runs. Whatever.
You want to be in and around the area. And listen, as with anything else, if there's a pile, go clean it off. Yeah. Go clean the pile off. Just like mom asking you to fold laundry. You just take one piece off the top and you just keep working it down.
You can't say, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, no. And he definitely has some opportunities where he could have went commando over the top and peeled some guys off.
And, of course, as Mike Tomlin has told us, the games matter. The games matter more. This matters. Practice matters. The games matter more. I thought he gave a real good accounting of himself. Can't wait to see the second one.
No, absolutely. I'm really excited to see the growth from one game to the next. And that's something I'm going to be looking very hard at is how did this unit accept more of a role? How do you accept the responsibility at key places? Mike, we talked about this. Zach Frazier, when you get the opportunity, are you going to continue to roll guys up? Don't get complacent. I'm looking at guys like Nick Herbig. Continue to come on the outside. Gunners, I need to see Gunners down and in position on the punt situations. There's so many guys that still have an opportunity. Montravius Adams, another guy. Can't wait to see what he does as a follow-up back. Had a big sack in the game on Friday, and he's another guy that was in my conversation for talking about breakout year, but in that second wave, who's going to be the next second wave? Because Carl Dunbar loves rolling linemen in. Can Montravius Adams also meet the standard and exceed the standard of what Keanu Benton's going to be putting out there? So having that kind of auxiliary guy to where you have waves and offenses don't get to take a break because the defense has so much depth.
Best bounce back training camp. Who gets your campy?
So, it's funny. You said most impactful season. I think Najee Harris gets my bounce back because he came into camp last year, nicked up, right? He wasn't practicing as much, and he didn't really, participate as avidly. And watching him from last year to this year, night and day. So I think you had poised for a breakout season.
We're in the same church, if not the same pew.
Yeah, so I think for him, he's had the most recognizable bounce back camp to me because he just looks completely different. The focus is there, and he is all about his business.
I'm going to go with DeMarvin Leal.
That's another good one. Another great one. I love that one.
At the end of last year, they weren't playing this guy on purpose.
Healthy scratch.
Down the stretch and in the playoff game. And I thought, boy, he was so good as a rookie. And then he just took a 3 steps back.
Yeah.
And where's he going to go from there? Well, he's back.
He is back.
I think he's going to have an impactful season. He's having an impactful camp. I know that.
Yeah, he's been very impactful. And he's been put in so many different situations like we see on the screen here. He's in the 2-point position. This guy weighs 300 pounds. Yeah. Like, just put that in perspective. A 300-pound guy that you can stand up. Levon Kirkland-esque, right? He can put his hand in the dirt. He was playing nose as well in some sub packages. So the fact that you can put him anywhere across the line, almost like I talk about a Spencer Anderson, like DeMarvin Leal is a very key linchpin piece to their success in that second wave we were talking about. And he's a guy I can't wait to see what he can do. Stand-up defensive end stuff. Outside backer in certain situations, but also be able to put his hand in the dirt, be a D tackle or a nose tackle. He's a guy, I really like that one. That's a huge one. And he's healthy as well. He's healthy. He doesn't have the knee issue. He's coming into camp, and he's participated every day.
He played a bunch of positions as a rookie. A lot of that was necessitated by injury.
Yeah.
Much as he had at Texas A&M. And I wasn't really sure what his best position would be. And I'm still not, quite frankly, but just get a big guy that can move out there disrupting stuff. Can you do that? Because we can use that. So that'll be helpful.
So Wolf calls him Wreck-It Ralph. Because he just goes and just breaks down buildings or breaks down walls.
I like it.
I think that's a perfect name for him. Go put him out there and just watch him explode. He split a double team on the game on Friday between the center and the guard and made the sack. And it was probably one of the more impressive plays I saw in the game. And the fact that he did it so smoothly and so effortlessly for his size really allowed me to feel really good about that. So I really like what you said there.
Who's your best camp personality?
Ooh. This is a tough one.
Other than, I'm not eligible here.
I know.
Work together.
We'll keep Pursuit out of this. But, personality-wise, I think one of the guys I really like when they talk, it's going to have to be – I feel like Pat has a really good personality. Freiermuth.
Okay, not the O-line coach.
No, Pat I love Pat. But Pat doesn't talk in camp. Now, Pat's great when we get to watch, like we'll watch a couple of fights up here. And I love the animation that he has in there, but that doesn't qualify because not everybody gets exposed to that. But I think Pat, his willingness to go have fun, he has deadpan humor. I was playing cards with Pat. Pat low-key has some good smack talk. He has A1 smack talk. I'll give him the grade on that.
Yeah, and the defensive guys like him.
No,
I mean, Elliott and Roberts have talked about how they like hanging with him.
Well, and he has a locker right next to Matakevich. And so him and Matakevich go back and forth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that it's one thing to be next, to talk to guys on the field. But then when you have a locker next to a guy, like that's a big thing because normally they keep it separated, offense and defense. But he's a guy, he can go in any crowd, any room, and you automatically are engaged by his conversation. So I think I would give him the best personality. Who you got?
I got Russell Wilson, or let me be more accurate, the Russell Wilson experience. This guy has blown me away since he became a member of the Steelers, from his first press conference to his ceremonial first pitch to his kissing babies. I don't know if he's trying to be the quarterback or run for office, but I'm in. He's engaging with the fans out here. When he wasn't doing much early in camp, he was still omnipresent in the drills and talking guys up and being involved and keeping the energy going. I love his press conferences. He'll talk anytime you want. He doesn't have, I only talk on Wednesdays because I'm the quarterback.
You can catch him on the way to lunch. You can catch him on the field after practice when he's doing drills.
It's been really eye-opening being around him a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it shows you what
habitual
a quarterback –
positivity.
It shows you what a quarterback can be, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a very new personality trait that you can follow. And, it was a very low-hanging fruit one. That's why I didn't pick him, because I'm like, it's a given. This
I don't
is what
mind that. It tastes just as good, and you don't have to work really
That's true.
hard.
It's ripe, right? Yeah. It's ripe at that point. But one thing why I wanted to pick somebody outside because I think we've seen that, and that's now an expectation. Everywhere he's gone, he has had this type of engagement, and I really enjoyed his refreshing. I got to talk to him a couple times on the field, and I mean, man, he makes you feel like the only person in the room.
Yep.
When he engages with you. So, I mean, that's really cool, especially for a newcomer coming to a team that's as steeped in history and success at that position, and where he comes in as the new guy, he embraces it all. He signs everybody's autographs down there on the field at the end of practice that he can, except for when, the family comes up. You want to spend time with your family when you're up here at camp. But the fact that he takes that extra time, and he will still take time away to make sure that everybody is appeased and everybody gets what they want, whether it's an autograph, a picture, a selfie, or whatever else. So
just hey,
he's
how's
gracious.
it going? Or
He's just very gracious.
He knows how to be the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to find out how he plays quarterback. But
yes, we will.
He knows how to make the reservation.
All of the outside stuff is great.
Favorite Mike Tomlinism that you heard out here?
You know what? He hasn't given me as many in years past. But as I'm thinking about it, I mean, I haven't found one that I like this year because in the years past, I mean, my favorite one all time, of course, is always Two Dogs, One Bone.
Yeah.
I
don't think
we're going to find out.
He hasn't brought that out
He hasn't
yet.
brought that one out yet, but that's one that's in the vault.
Yeah.
I didn't find one this year. What did you have?
I got when he called the performance against the Texans JV.
The JV, yeah.
And here's why I like that one. This is Mike Tomlin's 18th year.
Yeah.
It was the first preseason game.
Yeah.
I mean, if as a media guy, if he had come in and said, well, we lost the game, didn't play particularly well, used a lot of new guys, tried some stuff, weren't doing schematics, weren't scouting, we'll get around to fixing it, on the Buffalo. Would anybody have blinked an eye?
No.
And instead, he was generally honked off a little bit.
Oh, he was
about
pissed.
that game.
Well, once again, penalties. If you want to get to Mike Tomlin's nerve core, commit a bunch of penalties in the game, and you will get that.
Mess up a couple snaps.
Mess up a couple snaps.
Well, Cowher used to enjoy that as well.
Yeah, muff a punt.
Yeah.
Oh man, talk about having ants in your pants.
Yeah.
Like honked off. That's what it was. So yeah, the JV one, that's a good one. But I mean, he also said that about a couple of players at the Friday night Lights practice. He called a couple of guys JV. I'm not going to single them out. So JV has been a recurring theme for this camp.
Yeah. You got I called it the Campy for defining moment of camp. Or was there a signature moment, something that if you think back on this a couple weeks from now, this will be the first thing that pops into your head?
Yeah, Justin Fields getting knocked off by E-Rob and the ensuing fight that occurred afterwards. I think that was one of the defining moments because you saw the offense standing up for their guy. New guy to the team, and in a drill where you weren't supposed to get that, you saw them rally. I think backs on backers got really hot. Friday Night Lights, that fight that broke out between Alandon Roberts and Jalen Warren because they had some very big moments and some very, very obvious moments in camp with them colliding with each other. So I think that's probably a defining moment for me because I think it's going to work as a positive thing. It wasn't something that carried over from the field to the locker room and permeated around. Like the guys were hanging out getting ice cream during their home run derby together. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things where I feel like it's a bonding thing that's really going to solidify this team moving forward into the season.
I went with bonding here too. This was a couple of days ago. 7-on-7 drill, and Freiermuth collides with Deshaun Elliott over the middle, and Freiermuth went down kind of awkwardly, and it looked like he might have been hurt, and he stayed down for a little bit, and then he got up kind of funny, and, he ended up completing the drill. I don't think he missed any reps, but when they got to the second and the third teamers, Elliott came all the way behind the people that weren't participating around the formation, went from the defensive sideline to the offensive sideline and sought out Freiermuth. Are you okay? Here's what I was thinking. Hey, I wasn't trying to cheap shot you. That little exchange screamed teammates to me.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons they do this out here, right?
Yeah, no, that's why you get through it. That's why you go through it. And at the end of the day, it's all about being better. It's like creating and understanding. Like you talked about Arthur Smith going to the defense and telling him why he thought what he saw. That's the same thing. Like I didn't want to get in your way. Just like when I saw Graylin Arnold came in on a blitz and Justin Fields during Friday Night Lights was looking right and then came back left for a throw. And so it was an awesome thing to see the same thing happen. Braylon Arnold came back, talked to Justin, hey, my bad, man, I didn't mean to get close to you.
Yep.
He's like, no, I got you, my man. So those are those little moments. And I think even for the fight, like, it creates team bonding.
Hey, we are almost out of time, but we got one more to get to.
Okay, one more.
So,
yeah, let's go.
Best aspect of camp at St. Vincent College?
I think best aspect is just being here, being away from everything, being able to go into a bubble for this team and force those connections, because all the things we talked about, defining moments, sleepers, best personality, that's all created here at camp because you don't have anything else distracting you. It's a distractionless environment to a large degree, and guys can really bond and get to know each other, and that's going to carry you through the season.
I'm going to go with tackling. I like it. I like when they do team run. I like when they do goal line. I like when they do 7 shots. I like when they hit,
Yeah.
Guys are given days off and people are protected as need be. But trust me, this is a tough camp. They had a 6 days in a row stretch. There's some iron sharpening iron out here. And I never fail to appreciate that. That's going to do it for us, not just for this program, but for training camp in 2024. There's not going to be a training camp wrap-up today. So before we sign off, I just want to thank some of the other people that have been involved, our colleagues Craig Wolfley and Missy Matthews and Rob King for work here either at the desk or on the field. And also I want to tell everybody out there who's tuned into these programs or found us however you found us, thanks for doing that. And you got to understand that there's a small army of people behind the camera that are doing incredible work. They have just a highly skilled and professional crew here that, Max, they make us look good, whether it's people behind the camera, people in the control room, people doing whatever. This is far from a small operation. A lot of time and effort goes into it, and I can't mention everybody, but thank you.
Yes.
It's a good team here in place.
No, we got a great team here, and this was an awesome experience. Once again, being able to bring this to you. Got to shout out our camera crew. Alec is working the cameras today, but Bella's been here the whole time. Darren, Steve, Gerard over there in the back, Jalen, the whole crew. Love all you guys.
Yeah.
Nate's done some good stuff for us, too. Got to put him in there. And, of course, Reagan. We got to throw everybody in there. But as many as we could name, we tried to get them all in there. I know there's a couple names I'm forgetting. But thank you guys so much. And we appreciate also you, the fans, tuning in and caring about wanting to hear about this and allowing us to come on air and do a show every day.
It's been fun.
It has been. Now on to the season, right?
Now it's done. For Max Starks, I'm Mike Pursuta. This has been Training Camp Live presented by FedEx.